Okay, so you guys know how being petty is like my spiritual gift, right?
Welcome to a new segment I'm calling That's Not Biblical.
Thank you for your contribution, man. Now,
Okay, can I just say hello? And that new intro, the girls hadn't seen it yet. And can you tell that that clip from the Halloween one was when you said kerplunking?
Yes, I could tell. I immediately, as soon as I mean, anytime I see myself, a picture from me as a witch, I think of kerplunking now.
I was like, oh, as soon as I pressed play on it, I'm like, I didn't tell them that I changed a few things on there, and it was definitely
I'm into it.
kerplunking. Also, the first clip is when we were talking about sex that God can't see. So I picked some great clips. Well, welcome to the show, everybody.
That's a good one.
Welcome. I mean, they don't call us the Heretics for nothing. Welcome, everyone. We are glad that you're here. My name is Rachel.
I'm April.
And I'm Abby.
And Abby is rocking some cool lips. Is that lipstick?
Yes.
They make lipstick that color?
They make lipstick every color. Are you kidding me? This comes with a lip liner, and when I do my eyebrows green, that's what I use. I use the lip liner because it's stainy, unlike
Interesting.
I love it.
I'm a fan too. I've never thought to do green lipstick, but is that what you're gonna wear for St. Patty's?
Sure. I just like to do I like to do crazy lipstick colors or crazy eyebrow colors, one or the other. But because of masks, I don't get to wear fun lipstick a lot because I forget.
Yeah.
And I put it on, and then I put the mask on, and then I take the mask off, and I have like, yes, I have been making out with Shrek. Thank you, Marsha.
I'm always jealous when you have colors in your eyebrow because they look super cool. And
Agreed.
My eyebrow hair is just way too dark. I could never.
You could. Let me help you. I don't know why I looked at the microphone when I said
I don't know. Also, I did Snapchat Abby earlier and say, I really went a little intense with my eyebrows today. I was
That's why I have green.
Are they too intense? It was an accident. You know when you're filling in your eyebrows and you just keep going and you're like, well, now this one has to match. And then you just keep going and all of a
I
sudden
think they look good.
Thanks, but they're intense today. That's okay. I'm here for it. I'm here.
Fan.
Intense eyebrows and green lipstick and talking immediately about sex that God can't see. So,
welcome to the Heretics.
Welcome to the Heretics. One of the Heretics had a birthday.
Whoop whoop.
Abby, you can sing to her now. Go.
Happy birthday.
Wow.
I didn't know she was really
sexy deconstruction.
It's the green lipstick.
Happy birthday. Did you get any cool presents or surprises or anything?
Wow.
Fishing.
I object. Now you have to say something cool that happened that wasn't Rachel.
Yeah. Can you think of anything that wasn't me?
Can I think of anything? Beecher, my spouse, made me crab cakes and lobster tail for a birthday lunch that Rachel got to partake in because Rachel did surprise me for my birthday.
Thank you.
Showed up in Tennessee from Ohio.
I did. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, how was it? And I'm like, it was great. It was like a thriving metropolis. It's just a really cool town. No, it was actually really, really cute. And we got to hang out with another TikTok friend that we had never met. So
true. Who lives here, who I just have never met before. I did give Rachel a nice tour of my very southern conservative town. I took her downtown to see the big Confederate statue.
I did get to see that.
It was a whole ordeal.
Did you egg it?
It was life-changing. Really life-changing. But it was just cool. If anybody on TikTok saw the video of me surprising her, she was actually happy that I was there. She just didn't want me to know.
Fever dreaming.
I don't have a good surprised face.
You are here.
It's like my brain has to figure out what's happening first before my face will show joy. Like in my head, I was like, oh, cool, Rachel's here. But then it goes to, why is she here? How did she get here? Did I know she was coming? Did I just space? So
Right?
it's like my brain, and so that's my face. But I was very surprised and very excited to see you, despite if it makes you feel better, I gave Beecher the same face when they proposed to me. So
I've
I was
seen
like,
Which we can, I was gonna say, which we can all verify because there's a video.
I
there's
was
a
like,
video.
huh? What?
I,
I think I said,
Wait.
wait, what was my spot? The first
Nice.
words that I said. Like, huh?
in April's defense, like her face immediately went to happiness, but the video, like I just stopped
You had
recording
stopped
right in that
recording.
moment. So she just looks like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, cool. It was exciting and fun. I like surprising people. Like stuff like that's fun for me. So it was cool and nice to hang out with your family and get
She
crab
was
cakes
so
and
sneaky
lobster.
too. She sent April a Snapchat. Well, so we have a group Snapchat, and she was telling April in the group Snapchat that she was so hungover from her friend's
Yeah.
time the night before. And I, for a split second, was like, "Oh, that's gonna suck driving to go see April to be that hungover." And then she side talked to me and was like, "I'm not really hungover. I'm just sneaky."
Well, and then Rachel sent a picture of herself crying.
I did.
Like she's
Yes.
like, "Oh, this day sucks," and like looked so sad.
Miserable.
And I was like,
She
"Oh
was
my
like,
gosh."
"Abby, help me. Offer to bring me a Diet Coke."
And I saw you send that. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Rachel's." And then I was like, "And Abby, I know that you live like a good 45 minutes from Rachel's." Like, man,
It was
that's
a bad lie
long
because it
drive
wouldn't
for a
make-
Diet
yeah.
Coke.
I mean, I really was crying though in the picture. So like, of course, if somebody was really that sad, you would go.
I messaged
do
Rachel. I was
something.
like, "Rachel, are you okay?" And then you never responded. So I was like, "Man, she must really be going through it. She won't even tell me." But she
Yeah,
sent
really
a picture of
hurting.
her crying.
I couldn't respond because I couldn't text because I was driving, and I couldn't send an audio or she was able to tell I was in the car and I was supposed to be like crying in bed. So I just like, I ignored
Yeah,
her.
it was all the things.
Listen, it was fun for me to play a trick.
Mm.
And I told Beecher that outside of like being in Mexico on like an all-inclusive, I'd never had lobster and crab cakes in the middle of the day. Like I've never had
That's
lobster.
very luxurious.
Yeah,
It
that was not
was.
dinner time. That was lunchtime food. It was so
Yeah. No, Beecher did great. It was a great day. A great Monday birthday day.
Yeah.
So as we teased on our Heretics TikTok, we were going to talk about sex tonight.
I actually just want April to talk about sex more than the rest of us.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
You want me to? That's
Yeah.
gonna be that's gonna just be me just awkwardly giggling and getting like a few words out at a time.
Right?
I'm gonna try to tell April all the things she's never heard of.
Oh
That's my
gosh.
goal. Make
Which is
April
probably a
blush.
lot. Yeah.
Abby's all in this education thing lately of telling people sex.
Although I'm learning a lot from just being on this show. So
we're so glad.
corrupted me. Yeah. So, but we're not just going to talk about sex. We are going to talk about sex a little bit later, but we're also going to talk about sexuality and gender identity,
Mhm.
which are two different things, despite what the church may say.
Yes, not the same thing.
No, they're very different.
Mhm.
Caitlin says, should I put my headphones in? My kids are in the room.
Yes.
Probably.
Probably.
Yes.
Caitlin, we're going to go with a yes on headphones for the kiddos.
Because I have a blue drink filled with tequila and something blue. So
nice. I just have straight bourbon, but it is in my Petty is my spiritual gift cup that my friend Neil made me. So it's super on brand.
I have my sparkling water, but I have a little tequila drink that I have for later. Because we're also going to play Never Have I Ever if we actually get there.
Drink? That looked fancy.
It's literally cranberry juice and tequila.
And tequila?
It's not.
That's a combo?
It is an interesting combo.
That's a drink.
I didn't have any of my margarita mix, and this was the only it was either this or sparkling water to mix it with, and I went with that. So.
I get it. I bet it's good.
Would you like to see Rachel cry? Because I can beat that. Do you know why my drink is blue?
Why? Her tears.
Yeah. I didn't have anything to mix my tequila with except for my grandmother sent me home with a box of food, the kind of food that we don't eat in our house, including a box of Starburst powder mix-in. So it is blackberry LaCroix, some kind of blue Starburst drink mix-in, and a
Wow.
whole lot of tequila.
Yeah, you need a whole lot of tequila.
That's impressive. I'm not
We're
gonna lie.
yeah, so you're gonna be a little drunk later, and you're gonna come down from a sugar crash, and it's just gonna be a terrible combination. And you've been traveling today, so you're just gonna.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be great in a little bit. Okay, sorry. Back to the
real things.
Back to the real thing.
Show.
Okay, so speaking of gender identity, if you guys follow me on TikTok, then you probably saw maybe that my partner, Beecher, who I was talking about earlier, came out last week as non-binary. Yeah. So yeah, yes, snaps and applauses. Yeah. So that is something that I haven't talked about publicly yet, but I've known for a while. So I mean, I'm not going to get into a ton of details with that story here. We could talk about it some. But my partner and I, if you do want to know more about our actual story, we are starting our own podcast. How many podcasts can I be on?
As many as you want.
Yes. Thank you. So the trailer is already out on Spotify and Apple and maybe a couple other places. We're still waiting on Google, but it's called The Non-Binary Marriage Podcast.
Awesome.
And it's definitely been a journey. I mean, when we first, so Beecher told me that what we would now call gender dysphoria, they kind of described that to me a month into us dating, but we didn't have the language for it back then. And we were both very conservative, good Christian evangelicals. So when I tell you that we've come a long way, I have literally laid hands on Beecher to try to cast the demon out of them. So
y'all also have come a long way.
We have. And Beecher their pronouns are they, them, but that's still, I've been trying to say it even before they came out more regularly, but it's still new. So if I accidentally, say, he, it's not malicious, and I will try to correct it, and y'all can correct me too. So it's a learning curve.
It's a learning curve. And I think that someone's spouse who has been walking this journey with them can have grace from a bunch of other people.
Yes.
No, nobody needs to correct April.
Yeah, that's a mess. And I think the truth, anyone who that I've known in my life who is non-binary or trans, if you are attempting, especially right after someone coming out, I think there is some amount of grace for people who flub and then course correct and then move forward. And you know what I mean? They understand you're trying.
Yeah.
And
right.
it's way different than intentionally misgendering someone, which is
right.
a whole other thing. So
right. And
you're doing great.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And that's kind of something that Beecher had said too. What matters the most to them is just effort and, and feeling seen, someone respecting their identity and just trying that just goes a long way. So, and we had talked about too, they were still kind of they were deciding on whether or not to do just they, them, which was what they want and how they feel they identify the most truly. But we're debating on whether or not to include he, just to show grace for other people. But what Beecher was just saying is they were afraid that if he was part of the equation, that everyone would just continue to use he, and then they would just still feel unseen, even though they've come out and expressed this side of them. So if you want to hear more about that story, you can check out our podcast. It's interesting. We can talk about terminology and whatnot with all the things, but I was telling another trans friend of mine that Beecher finally came out, and they've known for a while, or she's known for a while. And she was like, I actually hate the term coming out. And she said, and I thought it was kind of a beautiful way of looking at it. She goes, I think it's more of a coming in, and you're inviting people to come into who you've always been, but you're just like letting them see that truth. So it's like almost an invitation to invite people to come in rather than you coming out, because you have not really changed. Actually, you're just telling you're just finally revealing yourself to other people. And it's like, I like that. I think that's a good way of looking at it.
One more time, it's called the Non-Binary Marriage.
Yes, the Non-Binary Marriage podcast, and it's non-binary marriage.
I'm excited to listen to it.
Me too.
Abby and I know a little bit more than
April. Check the private chat real quick. I'm not.
Also, we got a spam commenter.
Oh,
how do I? Oh, okay. I blocked them. All of a sudden, I look down and I'm like, "What is this going on?"
It was at least sexual in nature, so it was on brand.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. We don't know everything, but we know, a little bit. And one thing that I'm excited to hear you talk about more on that podcast, because, a lot of people have had a lot of questions over the last few days for Beecher. Mm-hmm. And some you can tell are coming from a genuine place, and some you can tell are not. And the interesting thing I've seen is when they say that you are the first person they told 9 years ago. And that significance right there, because I know there's going to be people, there are people that all just are like, look what's happened to the world, and let's have all these people. And they're just like, this is something that Beecher decided yesterday or something. And it's like, for them to hear that this is something that you've been aware of for this whole time that y'all have walked together. I'm so excited to hear more about that.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, is it weeks or months at this point?
It was in December when we all got together.
I don't know what day it is.
No idea.
So a couple months ago,
April and Beecher came to Cincinnati to visit us. Which if you follow any of us on TikTok, because we posted all the fun things about it. And Beecher got to meet my kids, and my daughter is particularly intent on being sure that everyone is gendered appropriately and feels free to, and she's like 8. So it comes across as like an 8-year-old. So after they met Beecher, the next couple, and Beecher and my son had like this whole bonding moment over chess and the Greek gods. It was really fun. And it was in particularly a couple days after I was talking with my daughter, and she was asking me some questions unrelated to Beecher, but just in general about what does it mean? Like, if you are a they, them, which is what she says, a they, them person, if you are a they, them person, can you still this? Can you still that? Can you still, and she was in particularly very concerned about makeup. If you're a they, them person, can you wear makeup? And I said, yes. And she said, Mom, have I ever met a they, them person? And we hadn't we didn't introduce Beecher. Like, this is Beecher. They are a they, them. Like, we just introduced Beecher, and it was totally normal. And I said, well, you have. You actually, my friend Beecher, who you just met a little bit ago, they go by they, them. They're non-binary. And my daughter went, Mom, their makeup was so good. So if I grow up and think that I am a they, them, I can still wear makeup. And I was like, yeah, you can still wear makeup. So like, I super appreciate Beecher's story just from a standpoint of giving my kids someone to see just living their life and like being a person and being themselves, to be able to normalize all of those things that we've put into boxes for kids that say, if this, then that, and if this, then not that kind of thing. So your guys' journey has meant a lot to me, just being your friend and getting to watch it unfold.
Well, you guys were a part of a huge piece of our journey as well. Like, this was, so when we came to visit y'all in Cincinnati back in December, we talked about it on the January show, but at that point Beecher wasn't out yet. And so there's been a number of reasons of why Beecher wasn't out, and maybe we'll get into those at a later point.
On your podcast, which is called A Non-Binary
Marriage. Yeah. But they just couldn't be out yet. But one thing that did happen in Cincinnati that we couldn't talk about was that we all went out on the town. We went to the mall, and we went downtown, and we went out to dinner. And that was the first time that Beecher ever publicly went out and really dresses themselves. Like, they wore makeup and they got their ears pierced for the first, like, y'all were with us when we got Beecher's ears pierced. And I just remember
so excited.
So excited. It was so cute. Yeah.
Yeah. And Beecher, like, just feeling the acceptance that y'all showed them and like that the world didn't end. Cause I think for so long in Beecher's mind, they thought like if I ever go out and I'm presenting more feminine, like the world's going to end. People are going to beat me up or call me names or like I'm going to lose everything. And that just didn't happen. And if anything, people were celebrating Beecher. Like everywhere we went, they were complimenting like their outfit, and Beecher did look good. And yeah, it was just really cool that y'all were willing to do that with us. And you were also there for me because it was also like my first time like in a public during the day.
Yeah.
Like as the wife and spouse, which is still a newish thing. Because it's always been a private thing between us that we didn't know it would ever be public. So y'all were a great like support for both me and Beecher.
I felt optimistic about the weekend because I feel like I know my city pretty well, but you never really know, right? Who you're going to run into. So I felt protective of both of you. And so every new person that we interacted with, that was amazing. Like took my walls down too. The person that pierced Beecher's ears was like the most precious person in the world. And it was like never even missed a beat. Everybody all day and the shops we went to and the rest, whatever, everybody just didn't miss a beat. And even like my friends who didn't get to meet you guys, but who knew you were coming to town. And I talked to a couple of them because they're not in, whatever, they understand. We're so like genuinely excited when I reported back like on the weekend, which was like, it just meant a lot to me too, because I was proud of the people around me and I was proud of you all. And it was hard not to just kind of feed off of Beecher's like excitement all day. And like, it was just a cool
But
day.
Also the thing about that, I feel like no one watching is going to be too surprised by. The thing about both Rachel and I is that like we will guard dog a motherfucker like nobody's business. Like
nobody's business.
Let somebody say something. The Florence Mall has never seen rappers like Rachel and I know the riffraff that go to that mall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole time I think that there were like, as I would like, I felt like the Terminator. I'm watching and like evaluating people and being like, you are not going to be a problem. You look like you might be. And so I'm going to watch you.
Right.
Kind of a thing. And so I think that one of the most important pieces of coming out, regardless of like whatever it is that you are revealing about yourself, is community. And over and over, that's the thing that is statistically proven, that community is the thing that makes or breaks the difference in someone's coming out journey. Having people to have their back and support them as they explore and as they figure out what it like. It's a delayed adolescence in a lot of ways. I got to explore who I really was when I was much younger because I was free to do it, And so having people who explore who they are, they have to wait until later in life till they have the opportunity to have that kind of freedom. They still need that kind of support and that kind of community. And too often they don't get it. And so I'm really thankful that you allowed us to be part of that community for you guys.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. I'm also surprisingly hopeful for humanity because Beecher came out on TikTok first, and Beecher doesn't post enough on TikTok for the algorithm to be like specific, So I didn't know what kind of people were going to see that video, and I was watching those comments like a hawk, like ready to like destroy someone. But surprisingly, there was like maybe one comment that was like ish, like not good, but not necessarily bad. But so many people were just so supportive and kind. And I was like, oh, maybe the world's not so bad.
And maybe it isn't. And hope for humanity, yes. And even with your visit and stuff, like I felt that even in like when we were trying on shoes. And like I just happened to be right next to Beecher. If I wasn't right next to Beecher, I wouldn't have even heard it happen because this saleswoman was so incredibly like delicate in the way she handled it, of very quietly leaning down to ask what pronouns like would be comfortable. And it was so significant for me. And at the same time, I'm just like dreaming of this world where like, that's not significant, where I don't want to like applaud her and like call her boss and say she's amazing for doing that, or it's just like what we do. So I have a lot of hopes and dreams for the future, but it was it was just awesome for everyone, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Sweet.
But it's not the easiest thing with family.
No.
And not just gender identity, sexuality in general. Even honestly, even if you're in heterosexual relationships and you're just becoming a sexual person, to talk to evangelical family about, let alone if your sexuality is anything different than they were preaching about from stage, which Abby, I don't know that you've ever shared this. Like, did you come out to your family? Like, did you have this thing?
Did I sit down and have the talk?
Hello, family.
Oh, family. So I did, but it happened. So for anybody that doesn't know, I'm queer. I'm pansexual. The thing is, I have known that I wasn't straight since, I mean, I don't know, very, very young, but I didn't know there weren't as many there weren't as many terms when I was younger. Like when the first girl I kissed, I think I was 8 or 9, and back it was like, well, one of us we're playing house and one of us has to be the husband, and I was like, I'll do it. You want me to do it? It's fine, I'll do it.
I'll do
It's
it.
totally cool. You know, and so she would like give me a kiss and I was like, yeah, you know, I knew for a long time that I wasn't straight, but I also knew that I wasn't a lesbian. Like I knew that it wasn't that. And the term bisexual existed, but it didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel like what was true for me. But I didn't know the word pansexual, and I didn't know the term queer was not something that had been reclaimed at that point. So there wasn't a word that felt like it fit. And it's especially difficult to come out when you don't have language for it, when you don't know there are words that encompass your identity. And so when I was in middle school, in high school, like I didn't come out because I didn't think I needed to.
Yeah.
Because like there was a girl that I like was kind of dating, and like I brought her, and I think my family just thought we were best friends, but like we would hold hands and like, I don't know. It's interesting to think about what they thought was happening when I thought it was so clear what was happening.
Yeah.
But also, as my friends, like I feel like Rachel, you and I have talked about this. I'm an incredibly physically affectionate person with my friends as well as like someone I'm romantic with. So now I also, when I look back at it as an adult, I'm like, no, they were right to be confused and not know what was happening.
Yeah.
And I was an adult before I realized I had never said the words "I'm not straight" out loud to my family. And I did it the worst way possible. The idea that they didn't know was so foreign to me that I literally texted my mom and I said, you know, I'm not straight, right?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
like out of nowhere, like you
out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And the thing is, I have a pretty complicated relationship with my mom anyway. And so she texted me back and was like, I did not know that.
Oh.
And I think that she really wanted to say the right thing, but she still identifies like she's still an evangelical Christian, and I don't know that she has always been someone who was very accepting of people with alternative identities, is what she called it. But I don't know that she would ever say that she doesn't believe it's a sin, but I think she wanted to be sure that it was going well. And so she was like, I mean, I'm pretty sure she Googled it because she was definitely like, I'd be curious to hear more about that if you'd like to share it with me. And I literally said to her, oh, no, I'm good. Thanks. Does grandma know?
Oh my gosh.
No, grandma doesn't know. And before that moment, I had texted my little brother and I said, I'm realizing that I maybe have never said this. He was the first person I texted. We're very close. He's one of my best friends. And I said, I'm realizing I've never said this to you, but I'm not straight. And he texted me back and he said, yeah, I know you. I understand.
Yeah. Thanks for announcing it. Cool.
In that regard, I recognize that I am incredibly fortunate. The very first person that I ever told was like, yeah, I know, dummy. What do you want to eat tonight? Like, you know what I mean? It was a very safe coming out, and I recognize the privilege that is, and the absolute like, that's not everybody's story. And I think that when we talk about coming out, I think about Cincinnati's Pride a couple years ago. I was part of a booth for a nonprofit, and they had these walls that you could write on, and one of them said, "What did your parents say when you came out, and what do you wish they would say to you now?" And it was gut wrenching to see what these and so many of them were kids, they were youth, they were teenagers, to see what these teenagers would write on the wall about, like, what did your parents say when you came out. It was heartbreaking. So it's a really scary, hard thing for the majority of people, and I'm glad that there are so many people now who have a different story for coming out, like it goes differently for them. And I'm with you, Rachel. I'm looking forward to the day where it's like the norm, that it goes well.
Yeah.
The norm where it's like received with gentleness and love. One of my pet peeves is I hate when parents say, and it's not, I hate when parents say, I love you no matter what. Like, that still paints it as though it's something you have to love them regardless of.
Right, like it's a negative. Like, oh, well, I'll love you through this,
In
even though
spite.
this is going to be hard for me.
Yes, it drives me crazy. And I would never, like, I've never said that to someone who told me that that's how their parents responded. It's just like a personal thing. Like, if you're the parent of a kid who comes out, say, "Thank you for telling me I love you." Don't say, "I love you anyway," or "I'll love you no matter what." Like, it still paints it like it's bad. And I even don't like the term affirming, like in a religious context. I don't want an affirming church. I want a celebratory church. I don't want an affirming family. I want a celebratory family.
Yeah.
So that's my soapbox.
I was watching a show the other day, and they were a heterosexual couple, but in this reality show, but the parent was not happy with the situation. And she's like crying, this mother, and she says, like, all a mother ever wants is for her child to be happy. And it struck me because I was thinking, that is really not true. Like, not at all, almost, really, because largely, whether it's, coming out as any sexuality except for heterosexual, or literally almost anything, I feel like parents struggle to be genuinely happy for their children unless their children are doing what they expected them to do. And maybe that's a broad brush, and I'm not even necessarily even speaking about my own here, but more so just like, I think parents largely are not genuinely happy if their children are happy unless they're happy being who they thought they were going to be when they raised them.
Right. I'm happy for you as long as your happiness fits into my preconceived idea of what your life is going to look like.
Yeah.
Or also, like, if your happiness doesn't embarrass me and like make me look bad as a parent.
Yes. Because that's really what it comes down to most of the time, especially if they're in evangelical circles, because at that point, then it is so much about what their church is saying about them. Even like taking away, and I want to come back to it, obviously, but taking away from sexuality and gender for a second, there are people in my family and in like my church family that I had growing up who don't talk to my parents anymore because my parents' kids are liberal. Just because we changed our politics, like they can't even go. They don't go to dinner with my parents after going to. Like, it's like we were a disappointment, and that was a reflection on my parents. Any decision I've ever made is a reflection on my parents, and so if my mom she's been great, and then she's not been great sometimes when it comes to my decisions I'm making because she cares about what it looks like for her.
That is hard. Like, as a parent, I understand that in a way that I didn't before I was a parent. I'm not excusing it, because here's what I'm saying. It's something I have to battle within myself of like, am I parenting from a place of how I want to be perceived, or am I parenting from a place of allowing them to grow and be a person?
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm parenting from a place of how I want to be perceived. Like I'm parenting from I want the world, I know I'm a good mom, but I want the world to see it. And if my kid does XYZ out in the world, people might not know that I'm a good mom. And that's really important.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
have to, that's something that I work really hard at, like unbuilding in myself, because my kids deserve more than that. They deserve to be people in their own right, and to have if their actions reflect poorly on me, then oh well, just is what those, whoever would let that shade their perception of me, those people suck. So I shouldn't care.
Yeah, that's definitely been something that I have had to work through, both as a daughter and a mom now. But being a pastor's kid growing up, I feel like perception of what other people thought of you was almost like the most important thing. Like more important than actually doing the right thing. Yeah.
But that's because there's verses in the New Testament, like when it talks about the qualifications of elders and deacons and all of that, and it talks about they have to have their home in order.
Right.
And so as pastors' kids, or anybody who has been in ministry, if your home's not in order, then you are not fit to be a preacher. Like as I don't know if you ever had this experience, April, but like I can name families that left our church when I was growing up because they didn't like something I did. As a teenager, one parent was dropping off her child late to school one day, and she caught me out behind the building, and I was wearing a net shirt with my thumbs poked through the wrist holes so that it came up to here, and I was smoking.
Oh, for shame.
And they never. She literally stared at me from her window.
Oh my gosh.
And then they never came back to our church again. And in my head, I understood, like, that person tithed to our church. That's how my family makes a living.
Right. It's the livelihood. Yep. I had a lady when I was in college. So I went to school like an hour and a half away from home, but I would drive home on the weekends to go to church because I was working for my parents' church at the time. And it was like, I needed the money because I was a poor college student. Yeah. So I also like helped them lead worship, and I like did all their videos and like all this stuff. But there was this other lady who was on the worship team who was like kind of like clawing for power within the church because I looked so tired on Sunday mornings. Because I did, to be fair, I looked very tired. I was very tired because I would wake up at the crack of dawn to drive that far, because it was also a set up and tear down church. So we'd like set up, and it was like, ugh. She started this rumor
level of commitment.
Yes. Oh, I learned how to like coil cords.
Oh yeah. Did you guys have the thing that was the extension cord, but it was like, you know, the Speak and Say toy when you're a child? It looks like that, and you like literally wind it and it eats up the cord. This is a very niche conversation.
Yeah, that was too advanced for us. We just were manually coiling the cords. So
nice.
Like in and then out and then twist.
Actually, according to my husband who does production things now, that's bad for the cords. The windy thing is bad for them.
Oh.
So you guys were doing it right.
Okay. Well,
this is niche.
Also, lots of stacking chairs. Anyway, to the point, this lady started going around starting this rumor that the reason why April looks so tired on mornings is because she's out partying on Saturday nights.
Which on the drugs.
Which wasn't true. Like, I literally was just tired.
Yeah.
And
we believe you.
I know. I mean, I probably would have if I was invited.
But people get it in their heads. I think the thing is, Christianity creates a culture, and in specific, conservative, politically conservative evangelicalism, Christianity creates a culture where anything you reveal about yourself that is out of line with the norm or what people think you should be doing, it comes with so much fear and baggage that it's going to change how you're perceived, the relationships you're in. It creates all of this tension around that. And I don't know if I'm jumping the gun. If I am, Rachel, you feel free to tell me not to.
Okay.
But people end up using terms like coming out when they're talking about telling their family that they're a Democrat, or telling their family that they are sorry, I'm distracted. My brain is now I've done the thing I just did. I know. I've been in a car for the last 7 hours, so I'm like, people use the term like coming out when they're talking about telling their family anything that is out of line with that family's norm. And as someone that is queer and who works with a lot of queer youth in particularly, I really struggle with kind of the co-opting of that terminology, because while I understand that for many people, telling their family they hold different political views, or telling their family that they are somehow deviating from the family set path, can be challenging and can cost relationships. Like when, one of the things I'll never forget, one of the things on that wall was, what did your parents say when you came out? Was, oh, I'm going to cry. A 16-year-old wrote that his mom said, you ever say that to me again, I'm going to take you out, put you up against a tree, and I unalive you. And I like, especially in rural areas, like that is very, there were people who said like, I'm gonna beat the gay out of you. Things like it costs lives of youth, of queer youth. I had somebody crack a joke in a conversation I was in about coming out about not liking the same football team as their family. And it like pings in my heart. Like, this is not the same thing. And I don't love that we're using that terminology.
Yeah, I am definitely with you on that. I've probably used it myself before, but like, I've been like acutely aware every time somebody uses it in the last year or so that I didn't like it, that something wasn't, and not that it's not a big deal, not that like anything that you are telling your family that is going to make them treat you differently, think of you differently, that's going to cause controversy at the dinner table is hard, right? It's difficult. But like I even mentioned before, people stopped going out to dinner with my parents because I'm a liberal. They didn't threaten to unalive me.
Right.
Like it's not the same thing. And I don't think, I think most people aren't in their hearts trying to trivialize anything. They don't know. I'm sure some people are assholes and they're just doing it to, to say the thing.
Assholes.
Right. But maybe like if we could change the terminology of that a little bit and say coming out for people who are genuinely coming out to their families.
Like I think about Beecher and I think about what it's like to understand that you are risking upending your entire life.
Yes.
By telling your partner, like, I'm non-binary and the person that I presented as the day that we got married, that's not how I want to present to the world. Like, that's not my true self.
Yeah.
That's a way different conversation than mom and dad, I voted for Biden. And I think that the difference between a coming out conversation and a hard conversation is absolutely a hard conversation.
Yeah.
It's fair to characterize it as difficult and hard and painful. But I think that in our culture and in our world at large, we do this thing where when someone comes up with a really good term for something, we co-opt it for other things that we feel like kind of match it.
For all the things that we possibly can. Yeah.
I feel like what's interesting, I see it happen on TikTok a lot, just across the board. I will see someone say a thing and I'm like, I don't think that's what, but then those terms get watered down and someone might tell you, oh, my coming out was really hard. And I think that it lessens that punch of understanding that when that person is saying that, they're literally talking like that hard is a very different level of hard than telling your family like, hey, I'm not a virgin anymore.
Which is like that.
Which is hard.
That's the thing. Like two things can be true.
Yes, for sure. What are some things that you had to tell your evangelical family? So take away from sexuality, gender identity, those things that we're not going to say coming out for anymore. Like politics, I feel like probably all three of us have had to be like, hey, our politics aren't what they
My family doesn't really ever talk about politics or care about politics. So other than my uncle, but we don't talk about it.
I don't
'Cause I
think
don't
I
talk to
ever said to my mom and dad, like, hey, my politics have changed. I think they just watched it happen in
Mhm.
real time. And my parents are conservative for sure. I wish they weren't. But they are not like, they weren't the ones last summer driving around 275 with Trump flags in a parade.
Trump
That's
train.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, that day, the day that they did that, I am petty level a million. And did I go and leave my house for a while and just drive by where some of them were blaring fuck Donald Trump in my car? I did, because I had nothing to do that day. But I took the time to do that because I hate those people. I did do that. I kept like re-queuing the song up so that it was perfectly going
You
to
know
play
what?
right.
Not all heroes wear capes. They needed to be trolled that day. We had some of our Black Lives Matter protests back in 2020. They would do Trump trains and they would schedule them specifically to route right by our protests, like back and forth. And they would just blare, like they would do that. What's it called when the trucks like rev up their engine, but they like are stalled? Yeah. Not just rev though. There's like it's not mining coal, something to do with coal, but they like blow the smoke right in your face.
Oh, yeah.
They would do that and they would honk their horns and like they were the most obnoxious. They were so obnoxious. Oh my gosh. It's just gross.
I think one of the things that I had to, this is a real weird one.
Okay.
I had to explain to my grandmother that we have very different definitions of forgiveness. And forgiveness is such an intrinsically tied piece to like evangelicalism. Just forgive people. Just forgive and forget. Forgiveness is the cornerstone of faith, or I don't know. And I had to be like, what you're calling forgiveness is actually reconciliation. I have forgiven this person, but I don't have to reconcile with them.
Yes,
That
those
is
are
optional.
totally
Those are
different.
very different things. And that was a really big one in my family that caused a lot of stir and controversy, was when I said, I won't be in relationship with this person the way that you want me to be.
Yeah.
And
What about,
I'm spiritually okay with it. Like it's not a knock against me biblically.
it really isn't. I talked about that on my podcast. I think it was the very first season where I was talking about like the church told me that I had to be in complete unity. And that doesn't mean I have to walk the road together.
Right.
Like every road. And I remember being like, so I could forgive this person and then never actually talk to them again. And that's actually okay. I can revoke access to me from anyone at any time. So, what about faith for you all? Like, did you have to have conversation, especially as pastors' kids over there? Did you have to have conversations as your faiths evolved?
I've had some pretty tough conversations with my mom, especially in the last couple years of like kind of deconstructing out loud in front of her. And I think I definitely like scared her a little bit. But to her credit, like she's been a saint. Like she was a very staunch conservative pastor's wife, really until like even, I mean, my dad had passed away, but when my brother came out to her and told her that he was gay, like she just responded with so much love. Like even though she didn't understand it and she didn't like, up until that moment believed it was a choice and believed it was like the worst thing that you could be because that's what the church had taught her. She like switched on a dime because that was her son. So like she's just really great. So I've been very fortunate that my immediate family, like my mom, my brothers, Beecher, obviously, we've all kind of morphed our politics and beliefs. Like we've been at different places, but it's been kind of at similar times. So no one's been like super freaked out. And I don't know that I've had like a talk of like, okay, I don't believe in this anymore. Yeah. I do know when I became affirming. Like I did call my mom and be like, hey, I'm officially affirming. And she was like, I think I am too.
Just to let you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and I don't even remember like when it happened. I was just like, kind of like, I think I am for a while. And then one day I was like, why am I saying I think? Like, I'm just going to be it. So
I think I had harder conversations about faith with people that I was at church with.
Yes.
Than I did my family.
Yes.
Especially because I was in a place of authority, right? I stood on the stage, so I was held to a higher standard.
You're the face of the church.
Right?
Rachel.
And so my politics or my faith or whatever was a source of a lot of issues in the church, more so than with my family. Like I'd have plenty of conversations with people about what I believed about different things as my faith was changing, and it no longer looked like the goal of that church specifically. And I know actually a lot of them have had a lot to say about me since then. They have found my TikTok. So.
I will say the TikTok thing, I did kind of have to have a hard conversation with my family about that. I'm like, hey, so I know that we don't talk about things out in the world, but there are people that they listen to me on TikTok. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Please don't look at it.
It's fine.
Don't look at it.
Not because I'm ashamed of anything I say, but more because I just don't have the energy for the hard conversation.
Right?
My mom followed me. I got the notification, blocked her, and then text her and said, hey, I just blocked you. It's probably better for both of us if that is how we leave it. Thanks.
I did not block my mother. My mom doesn't listen to this, so I can tell this story. Have I ever told you all how I figured out that she had a TikTok?
Isn't her username like the same as yours, but it's like
I get this notification. So my mom's name is Sally.
Oh yeah.
And I get this notification that somebody liked my video mine is months ago, and it was that one mom Sally. And I'm like, Mom, and screenshot it. And then I text her, I'm like, Mom, are you on TikTok?
Mom, are you on TikTok trying to steal my thunder?
Like, I just want to watch your stuff. Her only issue with the things I say would probably be my language at this point. Like, that'd probably be the only thing.
See, that's the thing with my mom. Honestly, the hardest conversations that I've had to have with my mom were about cussing. Because a few times I'll cuss on Evangelicalish, my other podcast.
What's the dirtiest word you've ever said, April?
Say it right now.
Say
it
right now.
Say it right now.
No.
Say it right now.
No, I can't.
Say it.
I'm not going to do it. I have to I've realized that in order for me to be able to curse well and not sound like a loser, I have to mean it. I can't just I have to mean it.
I can mean it anytime I curse.
Anytime.
Congratulations. I'm not there yet in my deconstructing.
I don't want YouTube to take us down, but the words going through my mind right now.
I'm sure the words I probably don't even know. So
but anyway, but know them.
Anyway, my mom, she handled the fact that I didn't believe in eternal conscious torment, hell anymore, handled that like a champ. I blurted one day that I'm bisexual, was speaking of coming out, which is something that I've discovered in therapy since Beecher's come out. Bi, pan, I don't fully know the difference. I'm not straight. I know that much. But I just blurted it out in casual conversation with my mom. And she was like, oh, well, the world's just a lot different than I thought it would be. And then we just moved on to talk about but the one thing that she just cannot let go is cussing. If she hears me cuss, I get a lecture. It's just what's happening. So I try not to
we're drug runners for Cuba. And your mom's like, it's fine, just don't curse.
Yes. And it's totally fine. One thing, and obviously both of you are married. I'm not. So I obviously wait, but on TikTok, when we could get messages from people, it doesn't happen as much anymore. Some on Instagram now, but when I used to be able to get message requests on TikTok, I can't tell you how many messages I got from women about our age asking me about sex and virginity, and do I still hold the evangelical belief of waiting for marriage and stuff.
Well, do you?
I do not. I know this is going to come as a huge shock.
What?
We need to have a hard talk, Rachel.
We do need to have a hard talk. I apologize for breaking all your hearts. Or maybe I'm making your day. I don't know which one, but I'm actually okay with sex outside of marriage. But these women who are, listen, people in the church would say it's an excuse, you're making whatever, but people that are in their 30s and stuff like that, the idea of feeling like you can't do with your body what you maturely can do like that you have the control over, but you have your autonomy, because they still feel scared. You know, some of them are still in their churches, they're still whatever, and they're like, if people found out, and it's like, you're 38 years old. I'm like, so this is legitimately a huge concern, and I don't mean to laugh because it's not funny. It's sad, actually.
But
the laugh is more like how ridiculous this is. Not that they are ridiculous. If you were one of the
there's so
people
much
that's ever
shame
said that
around
to me,
it, especially if you grow up in purity culture. Like that doesn't just leave you because you get older.
It doesn't. So this was like 3 years ago, probably. And one of my best friends and I and her then 15-year-old were out at lunch. We've come a really long way in the conversations we have with her now 18-year-old. But the three of us are legit just at lunch. We're not talking about anything. And out of nowhere, Blake is like, Rachel, have you ever had sex? And I'm like, and Casey looks at me like, because she doesn't really know I could tell she was looking at me like, I couldn't tell what she wanted me to say. I wasn't going to lie to her kid in that moment, but also like at that time, her husband was still a pastor, like they're still in the church or whatever. And I'm sure that like they are encouraging that for their children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, but what am I supposed to say? So I didn't lie, but I didn't go into like a lot of detail. But I was thinking, so
you didn't say, yes, I have. Let me tell you about it.
Let me tell you all the details. Yeah. So at that point, I'm like, what, 33 years old? And I was terrified to tell a 15-year-old that I wasn't a virgin. Yeah. And that was all purity culture. It was like all this. And so it makes me sad. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in the church that would say they were sad for us that we, you know, gave our virginity away.
That you gave away your virtue.
Right. Which, by the way, if you're listening and you don't know this, virginity is a construct. It's not a real thing. There's nothing to give away.
Preach that.
I will say that
your vagina doesn't break after the first time.
Well,
I don't know.
I had something to say right there.
I had a feeling where you're going. Sorry, Abby.
How well you're doing it.
Go ahead, Abby.
You can always tell when Rachel's like, oh dear, because she plays with her hair. That's Rachel's tell for any of you not.
I play with my hair the whole show. If you watch,
but it's a very different. Don't make me give away your secrets.
Okay.
So the morning after, like the day after my wedding, we had a gift opening, which I don't know. Some people I've talked to are like, yeah, I understand. And other people are like, well, you did what? Yeah. Which is where the family, any family that's around, like you get together and you basically open the gifts with your family, like it's Christmas or your birthday or something.
Interesting.
And I remember being really like uncomfortable with it because I was like, but they're going to know that I'm not a virgin anymore. And Aaron, my husband, was like, you aren't a virgin now. And I was like, but they don't know that. They'll know for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that too.
I was 24. I was an adult. I was going to be married to this person. And I was like, I can't tell them. Mm-hmm. They can't know.
Beecher in the chat says that vampires do prefer virgins.
True.
So that, that does make it matter. So if you have sex, it lowers your chances of getting your blood drained.
Virgins always live. So,
Well, and like Katie said, it's really in our best interest to have sex to avoid death by vampire. That is.
Unless you're in a different type of like non-vampire horror movie, virgin could be a benefit because they typically survive. So
I know that we have to, we have other segments for this, but I have to say this really quickly. Have I ever told either of you about the day that I had to tell my kids about sex?
I don't think so.
So it's a long thing and I'm not going to tell the whole thing, but I want to tell you one thing because you both know my 8-year-old, my daughter. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I was in particularly very concerned with, we have a rule that we don't lie. Like if they ask a specific question, we don't lie, we answer it. If they don't ask a specific question that we also feel like we're trying to work around, that's one thing. But she specifically asked about sex. So we're having like the birds and the bees talk. And one of the things that I told them both was sex Sex is like Santa Claus. This was well after we had gotten very far into it. I said, sex is like Santa Claus. You don't get to talk about this with other kids because other parents are in charge of when their kids learn about this. So the same way that we don't tell other kids that Santa doesn't exist, we don't talk about
Spoiler,
sex.
Abby.
We literally got. Now I'm gonna have to put like a thing on the like. Don't listen to this in the car with your kids.
Well, that should be on it anyway.
We literally did that in the beginning. Somebody said, "Should I have my headphones on? My kids are in the room," and we said, "Yeah, put your headphones on."
As you're like going on the story, I could feel my heart racing. I'm like, she's gonna say it's not real. She's gonna say
I love that. That's where the panic is. Okay, listen to my story.
Okay.
So then my daughter goes, "But we can talk to grown-ups about sex," and I was like, also no. You could talk to me about it. You could talk to Daddy about it, but that's about it. You cannot. And my daughter went, "Mom, do grown-ups not know about sex?" And I was like, I had to work so hard not to make a joke about it because I really wanted to be like, well, it depends on the grown-up.
Right. Right. I love that. With like sex, virginity, all of that stuff, and just the pressure on us coming out of the church to still like hold all of these like crazy expectations of ourselves, being scared of even like realizing that after your weddings, people are going to know you had sex because that's still dirty. It's not.
I felt that way too. Yeah.
It's like people would know this thing about you that they're not supposed to know because you're not supposed to be a sexual person because you're just somebody's little wife. Who is pure.
And as a sidebar, we've got a little pleasure point that's only exists for pleasure.
What's it called, April? What's it called?
Stop.
What's it called?
What's the word for it?
It's a clit.
Oh, she even did like the slang. She even go for like the whole thing. Listen.
And the church doesn't tell you about that, women.
No.
You can have pleasure. And I didn't.
I would really like to watch you go into a church and be like, I demand you tell the women in this church about the clitoris.
Tell them about the clitoris.
Every single organ, reproductive organ, sexual organ in both male and female bodies has dual purposes, at least more than one purpose, except for the clitoris.
Except the clit.
There's one that the only thing is pleasure. And they don't want you to know that you have this thing. They're going to say sex is about pleasing a man and it's a woman's duty. But we're the only one. Okay.
Like literally, if you believe in God and creation, that God created all of us, which I do, he literally made, or she made, because we're not, he's not a male.
Right.
The clit.
Fuck the patriarch.
Has one purpose. And that is for female pleasure. And I didn't freaking even use it until I was in my 30s because of stupid purity culture. Thank God for vibrators.
Seriously, thank God. Everybody, let's have a round of applause for vibrators, everyone. Thank you.
Wonderful invention.
Are we still going to do the game?
Yep, let's go.
Because I already have it queued up. And guess what the first question is? Do you want to introduce the game?
Yes, Abby, you're in charge of this game. We all have our drinks in front of us. Guys, everybody in the chat, you're playing too. Thank you.
Drink.
You can get a drink.
This is the perfect segue because I already have the game queued up. So the first question is already up. We're playing Never Have I Ever. And if you've never played this game before, the way you play it is I'm going to say a thing. And if it's true, I'm going to say I've never blah, blah, blah. If you've never done that, you don't drink. But if you have done that, you take a drink. And the first question, the first statement, never have I ever used a sex toy solo.
Today?
I feel like for the people listening, we should say like I drink because they can't see us actually drinking.
Yes. If you're live chat, you're telling us.
Yeah.
That was
We're all gonna go quiet
first question.
So that was good. So you're right, April. We should specify if we're drinking or not for anybody that listens to this after the fact.
I drank.
So did I. We all drank.
Never have I ever gone skinny dipping.
Drinking. April, you have it. Oh, this bourbon is spicy.
I couldn't remember if it was a dream or if it really happened. I think it really happened.
It's
Continue.
fun. It's very freeing.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm
Never
ready.
have I ever kissed a stranger.
Drinking.
Oh,
I feel like you can hear my ice clinking.
define stranger.
Listen, I went to clubs in my 20s. Yeah, I've
Somebody
kissed
whose name you
strangers.
don't know.
Okay, I drank.
April.
I've told you this story, I think. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you another time.
Okay.
All right, wait. Can we also take? No, I'm not going to do that. Never mind. I was going to say, can we take bets on some of these? Never have I
Time out.
ever.
Beecher is wanting to know who you kissed.
Feature, it was the night of the masked man. You know this
Oh,
story.
this story just sounds really.
I gave it.
sorry.
I gave it a
I'm sorry.
title.
Is this the plot to Cinderella story? Like, what's
Joel,
happening?
don't feel left out. You drink if you have done the thing, Heather, that we're saying.
You drink if you have done it.
Yeah, basically you're telling on
Oh.
yourselves then.
Do you see your brother's comment there?
Andrew wants to know. We all want to know.
Same.
Oh, I thought Andrew was saying same as like he also has kissed a stranger.
I don't know.
I think
This
Andrew
could be
wants
this
to
game could
know.
be very awkward. I forgot your brother was in this
Andrew
audience.
wants to know.
Well, and my
who she
partner.
kissed.
I mean, I think Beecher knows everything, but
Never
Okay.
have I ever
Sorry.
sent titty pics. I'm drinking.
I'm drinking.
I'm also drinking.
You're drinking.
Oh, look at how uncomfortable you are.
I'm
Okay,
very uncomfortable.
Did I almost accidentally send one to you two? Maybe like 2 months ago.
Yes,
I did.
you did.
I
You
did.
told
Why
me that.
didn't you just continue and just send it?
I mean, it would have
We
been
all know
like,
each other.
wow, I didn't know.
Katie,
see this
do it.
coming.
It's a lot of fun. Just be
Yeah.
careful. Oh.
Katie.
Andrew has left the chat.
No,
Andrew
Andrew's
typed.
right there. Where did Katie go? Yeah,
Andrew,
Katie,
you
just
might
do
want
it.
to plug your ears. Ready? Never have I ever had sex on the beach.
I'm drinking.
I'm drinking.
It's not that fun.
I'm
by
like
the way.
embarrassed because it's
not.
very cliched and it's not as all it's correct.
It is horrible.
I'm
It's-
not drinking for that.
It doesn't feel good.
That would
Sand
just
gets
be a
in
lot of
places it should
sand.
never be.
Yeah. I drank a sex on the beach, like the drink.
You're done.
That's
You're
not,
done.
yeah. All right, wait. This one I'm very curious about, but also we'll go ahead and say it's okay to not. It's okay to say, but just know if you say I don't want to answer, that is an answer.
Yeah, you're just
True.
okay. Oh gosh.
So it's okay to lie on this one, is what I'm saying, because
Okay.
we don't force people to say things before they're ready
Okay.
if they need to.
Oh,
Never
time out.
have I ever-
Whoa. Time out. Katie gave a hand job on the beach and wants to know if that counts.
That counts, Katie. As the certified abstinence educator of the group, let me tell you,
No, in evangelical circles, that is not sex. That
it
doesn't
is
count.
sex.
Nope, doesn't count. The only thing
Anything-
that counts is intercourse. You get away with a lot.
No,
with
that's
that
not
belief.
true. In evangelicalism, the thing that we teach kids is, I literally used to say this. They go, "Do blowjobs count?" And I go, "They call it oral sex for a
Mhm.
reason.
Nope.
Where
not
I
in my
grew
youth
up,
group.
that
Not in
would've
my youth
been
group. That was fair
Mutual
game.
masturbation." So what were you Mormon? Like, we're just gonna soak. It's fine.
Oh, soaking.
Aw.
I knew it was gonna come up. Okay, go ahead. Next one.
Big drink. Then Katie's like, Katie,
I like it. Katie, you should come
Ooh.
on the show sometime.
I know, girl. All right. Never have I ever kissed a girl. I'm drinking.
Drinking.
I'm also drinking.
This is the best episode
This is
ever.
I have so many questions that I'm going to send rapid fire in the group Snapchat later. The first one is going to be, April, what girl did you kiss?
I know. I've told y'all. Have I not?
No.
No, but we were playing Truth or Dare last week with Abby on a computer in front of us because she wasn't
that's
with us. And she was not for it because she kept saying the dare was just going to be that April had to kiss me. And we
Because
never
the
did,
two
though.
of you were together, and I was like, that's my only go-to dare. But when I was, like, middle school, I would literally play truth or dare with my friends with like a boy girl party, and I'd be like, oh God, I want one of these boys to dare me to kiss one of these girls so bad, because it was the only way I felt like I could kiss a girl.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
And boys are gross. so
Andrew
they often do.
commented, "Has he ever
No
kissed a
drink.
girl?" No,
no
he's
drink.
not.
That made me laugh.
That's my brother. He's gay.
All right.
In
I
case
take
someone
it he's a gold star gay.
in case someone didn't joke.
Andrew, I need to know if you're a gold star gay.
We give so much of Andrew's business on this
It's
show.
true, Andrew. You don't actually have to. You don't even know me. I'm so sorry.
We
talk
almost
about
need
Andrew
Andrew
so
on
much.
the show sometime because I feel like he's like a guest anyway.
Yeah, we talk about Andrew every episode.
It's really true. You
When we
I
found
have
out
to
that
wait. I have to say this because Rachel sent the email for the show notes for this week, and in it said to Abby and Andrew, and I was like, "What Andrew is getting this email?" And then I realized it's because in Rachel's phone, April is still listed as Andrew.
Albritton's sister. If y'all were here for, I think that was like the October, maybe even the September episode, I said I was changing April on my phone to Andrew Albritton's sister, and that's still how she is. in my
Still
phone.
true.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true.
Andrew, a gold star gay, is a gay who has never been with a woman.
Oh, interesting.
All right. Never have
Can
I
you be
ever.
a gold star straight? Is that a thing?
Can the gays just have this one, please?
Just let the gays have something. There's another one. I can't remember what it is. A platinum gay, which is like if you were also a C-section baby and you've never been with a woman,
so you've
because
never
then you've never had contact with a vag ever.
Oh, Andrew would be that. He was born C-section.
Andrew,
You're platinum, baby.
congratulations. I actually
You are platinum.
you're platinum. Okay. Never have I ever kissed someone I actually didn't like at all.
Well,
I
I'm
am taking
drinking.
a drink.
Sometimes I've been in relationships with them. Sometimes I've lived with them.
Someone that I hated.
I don't think I have.
Oh. We finally found something April hasn't
Yeah.
done.
Never have I ever been unfaithful to someone.
I'm drinking.
I'm not drinking.
April is drinking.
Both of them drank.
Listen, nobody's surprised that I did, but
It was a high school
Andrew
relationship.
drank.
Andrew?
Look at
I've
all
got
these people.
questions.
Some of you in here that I know
Oh my
personally, we're gonna have to have a conversation later.
You guys, these
We're
are
talking
getting
high
so
school
aggressive.
relationships, so just clarify. Like,
I just
not
want to be
serious.
clear. When we talked about this, I said I have an app that does the Never Have I Ever game, and they have like a nice version and a dirty version. I'll do both. It's for sure toggled. You can't see it. It's for sure toggled on both.
But you're
But
only
we have
getting
only
one.
gotten the dirty
Yeah.
questions.
Well, we only
and-
want the dirty ones anyway.
Well, that's good because
Do
this one's
we?
about to be
Yeah, I'm
dirty.
drinking bourbon.
From a dirty perspective, not
Okay.
from a childhood disciplinary perspective. Never have I ever been spanked. I'm taking a drink.
I'm drinking.
Oh. Wait, sorry, say that again. From
Not
a parent?
because you were like a bad kid as
Oh.
a child.
Sexually.
Like
Mm.
you're a dirty girl.
No,
kind of spanking.
Abby, please don't ever say that again.
Welcome to
Bad.
Heretics After Dark. Yet again.
Oh, I like my girls are drinking in the chat.
Frank.
I'm here for
Okay.
it. I love every second of this. Joel, we will not stop.
Mm. Why does Joel want us to stop?
I don't know. Go. You're doing it.
Okay. Okay, this isn't necessarily dirty, but it
Okay.
is relationship oriented. Never have I ever posted a photo on social media to make someone jealous.
Oh,
Who hasn't?
drinking.
Drink.
Definitely drinking.
Well, we're getting a little. Wait, what? Abby's? I don't know what that means.
Me either. Go ahead.
We're getting a little down the rabbit hole here. Never
I hope
have
all
I-
of you in the chat are actually drinking too.
I really
want
hope
people to
you
be
are.
buzzed. I want people to be buzzed.
Because a party.
I'm already a little drunk.
It's a party.
I'm gonna go live after this. It's fine.
Abby's drinking
We
Starburst.
are live.
Live on
I
TikTok.
went on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Oh, maybe I'll join.
Maybe I'll join.
That'll be the real heretics after dark.
Okay. Do like 5 more questions and I want them to be good.
Oh, this is good.
Ooh.
Never have I ever had a fantasy about a threesome.
Oh, I'm
Drink.
drinking.
I feel like that's a gentle lead-in.
Define a fantasy.
You've thought about it and wanted to do it.
Okay.
She's like, fine, okay.
Ooh,
drank.
never have I ever faked the big O.
Oh,
Drinking.
Oh, I'm drinking.
Pretty good.
If you don't have an orgasm until your 30s, that's pretty much all you do.
Yeah, you're like very experienced in faking.
Yeah.
Oh, big time drink. Oh my gosh.
I
love
can't with this.
every-
This one's
all
like
of you who are listening to this later on the podcast, this is why you should be here for the live chat, because you can't see, like, you got to be here for this live
I mean,
chat.
all of the people in the comments are giving me life right now.
Yes, you are my
Mhm.
kind of people.
Also, you guys are progressively watching.
Andrew
It's
says,
like,
hard
this
for me to
was
fake an
full when we
orgasm.
started.
Yeah, I guess that would be a,
have you ever
vaginal
seen
question.
that episode of Friends when Chandler fakes it? And Monica's
Probably.
like,
I mean, I've seen them all, but I don't
that's
recall.
our thing.
Oh.
Anyway, okay. Ready?
More.
more.
Well, wait. So, did you ever watch the movie 40 Days and 40 Nights with Josh Hartnett, where he like gives up
but
sex
I forgot
for
about
Lent?
Josh Hartnett.
I forgot. I used to be madly in love with him.
What was the
and-
one with Lily Sobieski, whatever her name was? Lily. What was the movie with him and Chris Klein and Lily something? Oh my gosh.
Far From Home or something?
Oh
like that?
my gosh.
But in the movie 40 Days and 40 Nights, he gives up sex for Lent as a bet. And he has to fake it with a girl because it's this whole thing. I was very young and it was my first introduction to such things. And I was like, oh God. He like squirts hair gel into his condom. It's
Can
weird.
I say a dark humor thing?
Yes.
Yes.
It's like
you're
also
alive.
like tragic, but I laugh about it because it's me.
Okay.
One time I gave up guys, like dating guys for Lent. And in that period was when I was assaulted.
Oh, this got dark.
It was good dark.
I'm so sorry.
God's got a sense of humor.
God had nothing to do with that.
I know. Didn't mean to take it there. Go ahead.
now
Abby.
we have to go back
is
to
now
fucking
weird.
How the fuck are we supposed to go back to never?
It's okay. It's fine. I've got it. Ready?
Okay. We're gonna have to talk about
I have
I
ever.
later.
Tequila.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
I'm actually very curious about this one. Never have I ever given a foot job.
What is a foot job? Is that just like a foot massage?
No. Are you drinking?
I don't know what that is. So I'm assuming I haven't done it.
No.
It's the same as a hand job. It's just your feet.
It's
So
your
you're not
feet.
rubbing the foot. Your feet are
Your
rubbing.
feet are rubbing.
the
Your
appendage.
feet are rubbing the appendage.
Like until completion?
Yes.
Like the whole thing is a
Marsha.
foot situation. Okay, no. I have
Marsha!
not done
Marsha, yes, ma'am.
You and me, baby.
Is that more like you do that just for the challenge to see if you can? Or is it
like a feet
Okay,
thing, isn't it?
First of all, it's not as much of a challenge as you might think it is, depending on all of the lead up. Second of all, if a restaurant has a long enough tablecloth, there is an added.
in a restaurant?
You are disgusting.
You know that you're impressed.
I am actually.
But
I am
how-
impressed.
Did he have a change of underwear? If you go to completion, wouldn't that be just everywhere?
There are. I think we're gonna get kicked off if we go into too much detail about this.
So we're definitely getting rated explicit for this week.
But what I will
Sure.
say is there are a lot of ways to hide things. And also, I think that I can't finish this, but like you get napkins.
Okay, no, I'm done. I'm done. Move along.
Okay.
Thank you. Move along.
Interesting.
Thank you. You're done.
I've never heard of
She
that.
asked me a question.
I
I don't
know.
lie.
I
Rachel.
am genuinely curious, but okay, continue. Well, how many more do we got?
3.
3 more.
Make them good
Oh.
ones. You can skip if they're shitty.
I am. Oh.
Oh, we're gonna lose subscribers after this episode. Okay.
Katie, the under the table foot job is
Okay, I don't want to talk
Okay.
about the under the table foot jobs anymore. Ask the damn question.
Never have I ever had sex with 2 different people within a week. I am not drinking, to be clear.
I'm also
drinking.
not drinking.
I'm drinking.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I hope my mom does
You
not
drink and be
start
proud.
listening to the Heretics.
I know this would be a terrible week for her to do it. Never have I ever masturbated in a public place. I'm drinking.
I'm not.
I'm not either. I don't think so.
How many more questions do I have?
2?
2.
1? 2?
1, 2.
We'll say 2.
Not-
Look at all those drinkers in the comments.
There's so many people
Yeah,
drinking.
baby.
You all are my kind of people.
They do listen to us or watch.
Listen, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, a woman should be allowed to have healthy sexual appetite.
Amen.
I agree.
Amen. For sure.
Never have I ever had phone sex. I'm drinking.
I'm drinking.
I'm also drinking. But actually, I mean, I was faking it the whole time. So does that really count?
I've definitely had
What?
phone sex before when I was like working at my computer. Like just like I was busy. So I'm like actually just working and then pretend. Yeah, I've done it.
How many questions do I have left?
I don't know. A
1.
couple.
2.
Yeah. Okay,
2?
2. I just try not to keep these people all night. That's all I'm trying to do.
I mean, it doesn't seem like they mind. They can leave. They're free to leave.
Kay says, guys, am I a sexual deviant? No, you're not. That's
Look at all
the
these
thing.
Sexual
Katie, no.
escapades.
Jennifer, you drinking at Bible or you did it at Bible school? Yeah.
You didn't do it at Bible school?
What?
Sex. Any form of it. Masturbation, anything.
Oh, yes, for sure.
I
For sure.
not.
Katie, you're not a sexual deviant. You think that because you grew up in church and the church makes you think that any amount of sexual appetite or sexual nature makes you a deviant. And that's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true.
My thing, so I literally used to be an abstinence educator. And one of the things that we would tell people is women just aren't visual creatures. Tell
Ugh.
that to the box office numbers of Magic Mike. Like that, it doesn't even make sense. Women are sexual beings, and that's okay. Like that's more than okay, and you should be allowed to explore it. Okay, I'm a little tipsy.
No, also, and I want you to keep going, but also not just Magic Mike, box office, whatever, but also the amount of women who can't explore their sexuality, don't feel like they can publicly or even talk to their partner or their families or friends, whatever. But when it comes to their porn choices, they're watching lesbian porn every time. Thank you. We'll talk about that later, but that's just the thing.
Can we please? Can we talk about that sometime?
Yeah, we can do sex next episode too.
This podcast is only about sex.
Okay, go on. Give me another one. Let's go.
I just do think that, like, in particularly evangelical women and pornography and talking about like ethical consumption of pornography, I think that's a worthwhile conversation.
Absolutely. Agreed.
I'm out of my drink. And even though we only have one question left,
you can't go get a new drink. You just
I'm not gonna leave. I
finish
literally
the
I
question.
came prepared.
Oh, she's like opening it.
She's got her second drink already.
Okay.
So this is I got this specifically for you guys tonight because
I'm
this,
gonna
this is called Babe Rosé. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah,
this
that
is
sounds great.
This is the copy on the back that says, "Hey you guys, you look great. Love your face, love your energy. Honestly, someone had to create a bubbly rosé that was delicious, portable, cute, and most of all, so us. You're welcome. Love you, miss you, hate you, love you, mean it, babe."
That's so fetch.
It's
So fetch.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Okay, if you don't ask me the good deal, never have I ever.
You're so mean.
I am. I'm really feisty. Oh my gosh.
Why do we keep getting
We
the
keep
stripper
getting these-
dude?
How does this person keep getting in?
I keep blocking them.
I'm very curious about the answer to this question.
Okay.
Never have I ever. This is why I got a new drink, because I know that I need to drink.
Okay.
Never have I ever lied about not being a virgin. Drink. I'm drinking.
Oh yeah. Yeah, drinking.
I'm sure I probably have, but I don't remember specifically.
Yeah, I've definitely lied.
But I definitely lied by omission, which I guess is a lie still.
Biblically speaking.
You gotta end on a kinkier one than that. Come on, give me a good one.
Stop. We're gonna go forever.
I mean, listen, they're free to leave whenever they want to.
I'm not though.
April, leave.
April, you can go. I see the button that says leave studio, which means you see it too.
I'm supposed to close the show. I literally can't.
Oh, that's
leave.
right.
It's my
Okay.
All right, I
job.
just need a one that's dirtier than that. And then we can leave.
Never have I ever done a 69. I'm drinking.
I'm drinking.
April, are you drinking?
Those of you listening on the podcast, April is drinking. She just
I
didn't.
am.
I know.
Didn't announce
April,
it.
you're
Felt weird.
she's like over here going.
All
But
of
she doesn't
these
actually
people
say it.
drinking in the chat, I have never
love it.
felt
More seen.
more seen, more at home with my people. Yes. Praise.
Beautiful.
Praise be.
Drink.
Thanks for playing that game with us,
You're so
everyone.
welcome.
Guys, so I'm closing us out
She's like, we
With
got
a prayer.
with a prayer. Yes, everyone, bow
Please,
your head.
Please bow
Close
your
your
heads and
eyes.
close
I'll
your
say pat
eyes
on
as
my
April
piano over
closes
here.
us in prayer.
And they're like, dear God, thank you. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I see that hand. We are going to be back next month. This is a monthly dealio. So next episode's going to be on March 27th. We're going to be live here on YouTube, where you can catch the podcast after the fact. But we do recommend you coming to the live if you can, because we play fun games sometimes. I don't know what we're going to be talking about next week, because we decide the week of. So
We do.
sometimes the day before.
That's not true.
Yeah. No, we do put some thought into it.
We normally have a little meeting where we just like complain about everything going on in our lives and then plan a
Yes,
show.
I do know something that's happening though is that Abby will be trying Skyline sometime between now and then, maybe on the show.
Maybe on the show. You all, if you don't know, Abby's leaving me and she's moving away, and so we're excited for her. Definitely excited for her and her family to go back to Chicago. That's where they need to be and want to be right now. So that's exciting. But she is leaving me, and so we are doing a Cincinnati chili thing before she goes. And I'm
But wait,
so
the good
excited.
news about this is Chicago is about as far from Rachel as April is. It makes Rachel the central person.
I am central.
And so we just get to like
We'll just
conjoin
meet up in
there.
Cincy.
Exactly.
I'm here for it.
So also the Recovering Evangelical, which is Rachel's podcast, which is what you listen to the Heretics on if you listen.
Mhm.
That is going to be coming back with season 4 on March 10th.
Yes, I'm so
And Evangelicalish, which I co-host, is currently weekly at the moment. We're in our current season, so you can catch us live on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m.
excited.
And if you want to hear more about Beecher and Mai's story about them being non-binary, the non-binary marriage, I think we're planning on posting our first episode tomorrow, I think is what we're saying.
Very
So
Woo!
yeah, we've already recorded the first 3 episodes. So it's not gonna be like an ongoing one.
I'm
It's gonna
excited.
be our story and then
Yeah.
be done.
That's
So
exciting,
I
though.
do see a comment that says best small group ever. This needs to be weekly. And while we wish we could do it weekly too, but we all
I
have way
don't,
too
because
many
my
things.
liver would
Yeah.
be
oh my
very
gosh, I think
sad.
that's Ken Giles who's like, I really respect it, but now I'm embarrassed that I've been talking about sex.
We drink too much on this show, so we can't. But if you are not already, I'm putting it right down here in the banner. Please go follow us on TikTok. We have started making a little bit more content there. If you have not seen our Bachelorette series that we need to actually make some more stuff for right now.
But wait, the other thing we talked about making for that account was doing like housewives. I don't know if any of you are Real Housewives fans.
Crazy
but
fans.
Pay attention to that TikTok account.
Yes.
Because we have some Real Housewives plans coming your way.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So make sure you follow us at the heretics _ on TikTok. And if you will subscribe. I know you're doing the ending, April, but I'm
Go ahead, take it over.
I'm co-opting right now. Because I realized I didn't put
Bring
these things
back
in the notes.
Luke.
Luke is the worst part of myself, but I will bring
I will say, I showed my grandmother, my very evangelical grandmother, both of our clips from that account, and she was like, I think this is funny. And I was like, thank you.
Thank you.
You didn't actually laugh. You just looked at me awkwardly and went,
I think it's funny.
I think
this is funny.
Right. And obviously if you're here, you probably are subscribed to us on YouTube, but if you are not subscribed yet, please do. If you're listening on the podcast, please subscribe. We're trying to get our subscribers set there. That way you get notified too when we have new content here. You get reminded. And for the comment, no, Jonah is not the best part of me. Jonah is the worst personality I have. I hate Jonah.
Awful. Jonah's awful.
Jonah is awful.
So triggering.
Both of them told me that when they watched my clips of Jonah, like they hated me. They were having a hard time.
It's like watching Joffrey on Game of Thrones.
Oh, it's so bad.
Jonah is the worst. But anyway, sorry, April. Go ahead. I had to put that in there.
Okay, well, I mean, I pretty much said all of the things. So, if there's nothing else,
and if this is your first episode and this was a little too much for you, we don't do this all the time.
We don't care. No, shut up. Don't say that. If it's too much for you, we're probably not your space.
We are not your kind of people.
Also, give us about 10 minutes and then catch the after show on TikTok Live.
Yeah, I think we're going over there. So, love you all, and we'll see you. What'd you say? March what? 27th?
March 27th.
All right.
The last Sunday of every month.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I will live in Chicago by then.
No,
you said that's why we're doing Skyline before. Anyway, all right. We'll see you all on March 27th. Bye.